Good morning. I'm Christopher. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sunhero. So today I thought I would introduce you guys to Sunhero, tell you a little bit about how we started the company, why we started it, and what it is that we're actually doing and how our customers help. You know, I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years now. I started my first company basically after my first job in 2008. And I've always been in this world. I've always been starting companies. I've always been interested in entrepreneurship. But in 2019, my first daughter was born. She's now 4 years old. And the day she was born was life-changing for me. I think that's a cliche because I think that's what happens to a lot of first-time dads. But for me, it really changed how I thought about not just my personal life and how much time I want to spend with my family, but also it kind of changed my outlook on my career. So I thought to myself, I have to move into an area that just has a much more positive impact on society. And I really had this vision of my daughter when she was 10 years old asking me, "Dad, what is it that you're actually doing for a living?" And I thought I have to have a good answer to that question. And I was lucky enough. I was in between careers. I had just kind of finished up with one of my previous companies and I had a little bit of time. And I really thought, like, this is the moment for me to do something about climate change. And for that reason, I started Sunhero. And I got in touch with someone who I used to work with for a number of years. Stefan and I, we had been working together in my previous company. We knew each other well. We knew that we worked extremely well together. And I said, "Stefan, we have to do something." And he was on board immediately. So it took us a few months to set everything up. But at the end of the day, we really felt that residential electrification is a huge gapping area. Because at the end of the day, we need to electrify almost everything that we do as a society, because it is actually possible to produce clean electricity. It's the only form of energy that can really be produced in a very, very clean manner. And the key to doing that is you have to kind of electrify everything. That's a term that I'm going to keep using, electrify everything. So if you think about your house right now, if you think about your life, you use a lot of energy for a lot of different things. The food that you consume, it comes from somewhere. The heating, the cooling that you have for your home, for the water that you consume, that energy, that comes from somewhere. The mobility that you use, getting to work, getting to the office, getting to the supermarket, going on vacations, that's also energy that you use. And obviously, everything that we construct, all the houses, all the infrastructure, the bridges, the roads, the tunnels, the airports, etc., all that needs a lot of energy. And a lot of that energy can actually be electrified. So if you think about cooking with gas versus cooking with an induction stove, if you think about taking, frankly, your bicycle instead of taking the car, or taking a scooter, an electric scooter, instead of taking your motorbike, or you can think about a lot of these examples. And really, one of the keys to making our clients' lives cleaner is actually helping them electrify and helping them produce that electricity in the cleanest possible way, but also in the cheapest possible way. That's really the great thing about electrification, is that it's not just about the environment. It's not just about clean energy. It's also about saving money. And it's about becoming independent. One of the key inputs to that is solar panels. Solar panels is the heart of our product. It is the first thing that we build for our clients. It is where we start. A lot of our clients, they want batteries, they want EV chargers, they want heat pumps, but it all starts with solar panels. And I think it's worth touching a little bit about what's going on with solar panels. Like, why is this a thing now, and how did that actually come about over the last couple of years? If you look back 50, 70 years, solar panels were essentially invented by NASA to produce electricity in space. Because in electricity in space, you don't want to be burning coal, you don't want to be burning gas or anything, but you need energy to power space stations and power satellites. And that's why NASA originally invented solar panels. And obviously there are a lot of environmental benefits that I talked about earlier. You have, through electrification, through clean energy, through clean electricity, you're able to really live a much, much more sustainable lifestyle. And because there's so many houses that now have solar panels, and there's so many big solar installations in the fields, in the countryside, that you see when you're driving along the highway, or you see them in drone shots or helicopter shots, it's really changed people's mind into kind of thinking that this is something that could be for me, and this is not something for the fringes, for the early adopters, for the people that are crazy and kind of adventurous, but it's something that actually works for a lot of people. And for us at Sunhero, this is really what the story is about. For us, it's really about saying, okay, how do we make this a product that is for everyone, that anyone who has a roof can put onto the roof, can benefit from the financial benefits, the sustainability and the benefits, and the independence benefits, and those three really coming together. And that's really what we want to achieve at Sunhero. So solar is at the heart of what we do, and onto that, we add other things. And those other things that we add on are primarily centered around the big pieces of electrification. The first is batteries. Batteries are incredibly important because they allow you to essentially use the energy when you need it and store it when it gets produced. So to give you a very simple example, when you get up in the morning, you turn on the coffee machine, you start making your breakfast, you blow your hair, you turn on the radio, you're using electricity, you're using energy. But the sun is not out. So actually, where's that electricity coming from? Well, that electricity is in most cases coming from fossil fuels. Then over the course of the day, you go off to work, kids are in school, you're doing whatever you're doing, you're probably not at home, and the sun is shining. If you have solar panels, that's great. Those solar panels are producing a lot of electricity over the course of the day. In the middle of the day when the sun is very high and strong, they're producing a lot of electricity, but you're not actually there to use it. So that electricity, you sell it back to the grid. Someone else uses it, maybe a factory, maybe a store, whoever needs electricity at that point in time. But then when you get back at night and you're cooking dinner, you're watching TV, etc., again, you're using electricity, but you're not producing any electricity. And if you really want to be as self-reliant as possible, if you want to have the highest degree of self-consumption, a battery can be a massive help for that, because it allows you to essentially, during the middle of the day, to store the electricity that your roof is producing into the battery, and then using it at night and using it in the morning, and then again the next day the battery gets filled back up again. So batteries are kind of a pretty key component to that play very well together with PV panels. The second kind of product that we've added recently is electric vehicle chargers. Now, there's a lot of talk about electric mobility and about electric vehicles, and we see Teslas on the streets more and more. We see other car makers building things. We see in Spain, we have Cupra, we have other Northern European players building electric vehicles. We see new entrants into the market. It's a pretty exciting time. It's still developing, but in the long run, we really believe that if you combine an electric vehicle with a solar installation, you're actually kind of driving for free. You have to buy a new car, that is granted. You have to charge the car, that also costs an investment. But then once you actually have made those investments, you're kind of driving for free. If you have the ability to charge your car on the weekends, during the day when you're not using it, you're actually charging it for free if you do that with your own PV installation. And a lot of people, they only drive a couple of kilometers, maybe 20 kilometers to the office. So at the end of the day, you have to charge your car once a week, once every 2 weeks, depending on how much you use it and how big the battery in the car is. So at the end of the day, the car is just another battery. So to facilitate that, we are offering our customers EV chargers. And then the final piece, which is really just starting to come, is heat pumps. I'm not going to go too deep into heat pumps because that's a completely separate story, and it's a pretty long story. But essentially, it's an extremely efficient way of heating your home and heating water and moving away from gas and coal-powered heating systems. And it's a really, really fascinating piece of technology that essentially kind of works like a reverse AC unit, which really, I'm not sure that helps anyone because it doesn't really explain the technology very well. We'll probably get into that at another point of time. But so, to summarize it, we have our PV installations as kind of the centerpiece of it, the batteries, which really facilitate the investment into PV. We have EV chargers and heat pumps as kind of two big electrification enablers. And that's essentially the product that we're offering into the Spanish market. The thing is, every customer is unique. A lot of companies out there are trying to sell kind of one-size-fits-all solutions to customers, but Different customers have different roofs, they have different financial powers, they have different inclinations of the roofs and different positionings of the roof, and they use electricity and energy very differently. So we kind of really fundamentally believe that we have to offer something to the customer that is unique to every customer, that is very focused around their needs, but that also works in a very professional and highly scalable manner. So we do that by using a lot of software and a lot of technology to essentially find the optimal solution for each customer. And we really try to understand what is the customer trying to achieve with this solution. What is the core problem that the customer is trying to solve, and how do we solve that in the best possible way? We have all the experts, we have amazing engineers, we have access to a lot of new technology, we're constantly looking at new technologies that are coming at the market. We have access to all those technologies, but not every technology fits for every customer. So a lot of other companies, especially big electricity companies, they will come to you and say, let's just put solar panels on your roof. Just put the whole roof full of solar panels. Why do they want that? Well, at the end of the day, we talked about it earlier. During the middle of the day, the sun is out, it's producing a lot of electricity. You're not using that electricity. The electricity goes back to the grid. So in other words, the electricity goes back to the utility company, to the electricity provider. And actually, you're making the investment into solar. You're spending money to put solar panels on the roof, but the electricity company is the one who's actually getting the majority of that electricity. They will pay you some money to get the electricity from you, but it's a lot cheaper for them, and it's actually more expensive for you. And at the end of the day, if you're using electricity in the morning, you're using electricity at night, and the sun is not out, it doesn't matter if you have 3 panels, 8 panels, or 24 panels. If the sun's not out, it's not producing electricity. So at the end of the day, more panels doesn't actually always help you that much. Now again, every case is different, and different people have different use cases, so you need to look at that pretty closely. But what you shouldn't do is just take the base offer that a lot of the electricity companies are making, because at the end of the day, they are not really focused on your needs. And that's fundamentally what we believe at Sunhero that we need to do. And this is essentially what we've been doing now for the last 2 years. So we founded the company in early 2021. Stefan and I got together, we founded the company. We have our headquarters here in Barcelona. We have about 100 people all over Spain. We're installing a lot of systems every month, more and more month by month. And we're really seeing how customers are starting to understand, like, what is this thing? Why is it helping me? How could I benefit from that? Electricity prices go up, electricity prices go down. People are afraid of changes in the world economy. They're afraid of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. They're afraid of the conflict between China and the Western world. They're afraid of a lot of things, and a lot of people are feeling like over the next 10, 20 years, I'm probably going to be using a lot more electricity. I want to produce that electricity on my terms at prices that I know. I don't want to be exposed to crazy fluctuations in prices of the electricity, and I kind of want to be self-reliant in a sense that is much more palatable to a lot of families these days. Families that want to take care of their kids, that want to put food on the table, that kind of need a little bit of assurance. So it's a crazy world out there, and things are going up and down. And the investment into your own home is usually an investment that pays off over the long run, whether or not solar panels, or it's a new kitchen, or it's making some changes. It's an investment that ultimately has a financial benefit, but it really also has a crazy comfort benefit. It's really helping you gain a lot of comfort in your daily lives. And that's what we're all about at Sunhero. So that's a quick overview of what we've been doing. Over the next couple of weeks, I want to share a little bit more. I'll bring some people on, some of my colleagues who are really doing really amazing things. I'll be talking to them about some of these products that we're launching, talking about how batteries work, how that actually really helps you, how heat pumps work, how that can really help you, which customers that's good for, which they aren't. And we'll be talking to a lot of colleagues around the company. You'll get to know all of them. They're amazing people. Everyone here is here at Sunhero because they believe in the mission. We are here because we really think that electrification is the key difference. We want to provide amazing service to our customers. We care a lot about them. We want to make sure that every customer has the best possible offer and has the best possible solution that they can have and that they can afford. And that's our little, very, very small contribution to the Spanish economy, to the labor market, and to the environment. And that's really why we started the company, and that is what we're here to do. So thanks for listening.